emotional distance from the events, decided to close the good and take off the Acropolis of the ruins. And so they collected all the broken artifacts and monuments, and they buried them here on the summit. And after they cleared completely the rock, they brought more than 20,000 tons of marble in blocks which weighed from 4 to 14 tons each. And in 9 years they built from scratch this building. 9 years only. Chisel and hammer, built Parthenon. Now, it's called Parthenon, which means the house of the Virgin, because the goddess of wisdom was considered to be a never virgin. They like to make the house of the Virgin not just mathematically perfect, but to look also in the eye perfect. That means they like to match two totally different realities which originally do not match to each other, mathematics and aesthetics. And that due the human eye illusion. The human eye distorts the mathematical reality. And the human eye illusion is expressed mainly in two fields. So they tried to study mathematically the human eye illusion. And for the first time in the history of mathematics, the human eye illusion became a mathematical parameter. They tried to make optical corrections and they achieved. Now, the first field in which the human eye illusion is shown is related with a straight line. From a certain distance and from a certain height, the human eye distorts the view of a line which is geometrically made perfectly straight. So, as an example, if this is the straight line and from this height and this distance, let's say, the human eye can see the straight line curved like this, they studied this angle here. And when they made the lines, they like to look straight, they made them all curves on the other side, but with the same angle. So when the eye could make his own correction, he had to see them perfectly straight. And this is why we see the lines of this building from a distance as far as we see the building panoramically straight lines. Getting closer to the building, when we lose the panoramic view and we are focused on the detail, we start seeing the curves. And we are going to check the curves of this building later. The other field on which the human eye illusion is expressed is the relation of the light and the shade. An object in the light seems to be thinner and smaller. The same object in the shade seems to be thicker and bigger. So we see the columns and we think that the columns are made identical. They are not made identical. Because if they were made identical, then we should see them different according to the location of each one of them and the relation each one of them created with the shade and the light. So they studied the location of each column using a wooden model for a year. And they made averages and they made all the columns unique for the place each one of them is erected. The corner ones, for example, are thicker because they receive the most of the light, and the light makes them to look thinner. Gradually, as we enter the area of the shade, they get thinner because the shade makes them to look thicker, and also the distance between the columns changes. Now, another thing which is very important for the aesthetics of this building has to do with the golden ratio. Do you remember the golden ratio? The base of the Fibonacci sequence. Yeah, expressing the perfect, expressing the life, expressing. They decided this building all as a unit, and each one of the blocks individually to obey strictly to the demands of this mathematical formula. So if you Google Fibonacci sequence, you will see flowers, you will see plants, you will see, and among them you will see this building as well, which is the only human-made structure to obey strictly, perfectly to these mathematical requests of nature. The building is not built vertical on the rock. That was easy, but if they had built this building vertical on the rock, should create the impression that is going to fall upon the people to approach to it, like the impression we have today when we approach our skyscrapers. For avoiding these negative feelings of fear, the architects gave a very slight inclination of the temple in all the four sides, very slight, so slight that only in 5 kilometers the opposite columns should meet each other, and the entire building should take the shape of a prism. This building, because of this and many other mathematical specifications, is made of 16,500 unique blocks that they don't fit to another part of the building. It's like a three-dimensional puzzle that the right part has to find the right place in the building. Each one of these blocks had its own individual project. That makes us not only to praise the architects and the engineers, but also the simple marble workers. The ones who brought the plan, the project, from the paper to the 3 dimensions, with the chisel and the hammer. Today, we can count the proximity of their work to the incredible number 1/20th of millimeter. Something which really creates big questions. First of all, their abilities. Second, their level of education. Third, the alloy of the tools they use to be so sharp and so precise. So we speak for a unique monument of the human culture. Easily we could say that aliens made it. But Athenians every 6 months they published the progress of the work on marble plaques. Several of them have been saved, and so today we know that we are humans like us, the people who made this brilliant artifact. Inside was the cult statue of the goddess. The cult statue of the goddess was tall like one of the columns, 12 meters. It was made of gold and ivory. It's estimated that they used 1,150 kilos of gold for the golden parts. And the naked parts were made of ivory. The statue was inside there for 1,000 years. The time when Paul was in the city, the statue was inside there. So it was very brave of him to say to the Athenians, look, divinity doesn't look like with artifacts. It's something else. He's lost the time of Theodosius when the temple was converted into a Christian church. The destruction you see here.
Move out of the way. I need to take a photo.
Yeah, the destruction you see all around is due the bombardment that happened to the whole summit during the Second Turkish-Venetian War at the end of 17th century. The Turkish army gathered in Parthenon all the munitions and the gunpowder they had and everything, while on the other side, from the top of this hill up there, the Venetian artillery hitting the Turks bombarded the Acropolis of Athens, causing serious damages to the monuments that we are upon here. Today is a project of reconstruction. They try to put back the scattered pieces all around. Is there any question up to this point? Now we are going